Hello and welcome to Lost Love Chronicles.
I woke to the sound of the alarm, stretched, and trudged to the bathroom. After completing my morning routine, I slipped into a pair of trunks, a bathrobe, and slippers, draped a towel over my shoulder, slipped the room key into my robe pocket, and left my room for the hotel pool for my early swim. I swam laps hard enough to fully wake myself up, then showered off and returned to my room to get dressed for the day ahead. The day that would mark the end of my marriage. It was a bittersweet conclusion to a time that had been full of joy, but, unfortunately, had run its course. I snapped out of my thoughts, realizing I had been standing in front of my open closet, lost in contemplation. I picked a suit somber, but not too somber and dressed. Then I called my friend and lawyer, Keith, to confirm our appointment with the judge in chambers to finalize our divorce and submit the settlement. Sitting on the bench in the hallway, waiting for the inevitable to unfold, I glanced at my ringing phone. It's my mom. Do we have time for this? Keith looked up from his notes and checked his watch. Yeah, we're early. Go ahead. Thanks. I answered the call. Hey, Mom, how's it going? Oh, good. Yeah, I'm fine. I'll be out there soon, anyway. I can help with whatever you need. What? Well, you know what today is, so you probably know how I'm feeling. Well, that's the thing I'm not sure. I'm sitting here with Keith, waiting for the meeting to start. It's for 11 o'clock. I think you might have thought it was 10. Oh, no problem. She's not here yet, so I've got time to talk. No, we're still on good terms. I've told you, and Carmen's told you too, that we both made the decision together. It was calm and rational. No, Mom, she's not a parasitic harpy that stole a decade of your son's life. You know that's not true. You still talk to her all the time, even after I moved out 2 weeks ago. You're probably on better terms with her than I am. And yes, I'm saying that out loud. I sighed and rubbed my forehead with my free hand. Yes, I still love her, and she loves me. But, well, we've worked so hard on the restaurant that we let our relationship slide. Now that it's well established, and I don't need to be in the kitchen every night, and she doesn't have to be in the office every day, we found ourselves one day sitting on the couch, looking at each other, not really knowing what to do next. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't go into detail about all of this earlier, and that Carmen didn't either. Yeah, we can talk about this more when I get out there. Yes, I'm coming out to stay with you for a while. It's been too long since we saw you. What was it, 2 Christmases ago? So yeah. And part of it is, well, everything here reminds me of her. The museums we visited, the parks, the theaters, even the subway. And if we need be apart, I need to get out of the city to get clear of her. No, not because... No, it's not that the memories make me angry or anything. Maybe a little sad, because I miss her already, but it's that they make me want to get back together with her, and that'd break this agreement with her, and put us right back in the tense situation we were in when we decided to end it. Yes, I know. It's sad. But look at it like this. We still love each other and care for each other, and we can still work together fine, and we've been able to... what's the word? Amicably. My attorney supplied as he sat next to me. Yeah, we're ending the marriage amicably, and without anger and spitefulness and ill will. How rare is that nowadays? Why? Well, the big thing is, a shadow passed in front of me, and my soon-to-be ex-wife and her attorney arrived. Oh, Carmen's here, Mom. I'll call you back after we're done. I cupped my hand over the phone and looked apologetically at everyone. Do you want to say hi? Carmen grinned and shook her head. Something occurred to me. Did you her the reason behind all this? The root of it all? She shook her head and winced a little. No, well, I felt you. Oh, okay. No problem. I got back on the phone. Mom, still there? Yeah, it's time to get this done. I hate to cut things off like this, but the sooner we start, the sooner we finish. Mom, I promise I'll call you back as soon as we're done. I swear. Okay, love you, Mom. This won't take long. I'll call you right back. Okay, bye. I put my phone away, shifted in my seat, and looked at everyone. So, shall we get things rolling, so's I can end her suspense all the sooner? I asked with a chuckle, which everyone matched, and we made our way to the judge's chambers. Okay, and then there's the car, a 2008 Cadillac STS? I understand Mr. Benson will take sole custody of that? Carmen fielded the judge's question. Yes, I'm staying in the city, and we've hardly touched it in all these years. Since Neil's moving out west, he'd get more use out of it than I would. I and both lawyers nodded in agreement. So then there's ownership of the corporation, Bistro Holdings 92438. The submitters are to keep equal shares? Yes, I responded. Judge Tompkins looked at me sardonically. So you're going to maintain a business relationship, despite ending your personal relationship? Carmen spoke up at this. Yes, Your Honor, the business was basically the foundation of our relationship, and even if the romance that grew out of it is, well, gone, it's no cause to disturb a stable and profitable business. He regarded the woman before him. And you're sure staying in contact through these means won't cause distress for either party? Mr. Benson is leaving the city to get away from you. How do I know you won't use business matters to get at him? If Carmen took any offense to Judge Tompkins' implications, she didn't show it. On the contrary, the company's main holding, the bistro we jointly created, is successful to the point of self-sufficiency. We won't really need to interact much at all. We just feel since we equally put our effort into making the business, it's only fair that we reap the benefits just as equally. I looked at Carmen as she spoke. Her cold-as-ice persona she usually donned as her tailored suits was melting. She was leaning toward the judge, bearing herself with what she said. Oh, how I still loved her. From her bob cut of jet black hair, to her soft and warm eyes, to that pert little nose that would wriggle like a rabbit's when I tickled her, to her soft cheeks that always felt so perfect to peck affectionate kisses on, to everyone was looking at me, seeming to expect a reply. I cleared my throat and blinked a few times. I asked if you agree, sir, the judge repeated politely. Well, yes, she has a point. If I were to cut myself off completely in every respect, it would be cutting the nose off to spite the face. We've already enjoyed the, fiscal benefits of our labors on the restaurant, and it is a success. I can live elsewhere and still do what little I need to keep the business ticking over smoothly. It's like if we had a child that was full grown at this time, I posed, suddenly feeling uneasy with my analogy. I noticed Carmen glanced away. If we did divorce, there's no immediate reason that either of us would have to end our relationship with our adult offspring, right? It made us both uncomfortable, but Carmen's point stood. Just because I owned part of it didn't mean I had to keep myself directly involved with it. My cooking staff were ticking over like a well-oiled machine and worked just fine without needing my help. And giving up my fair share of the restaurant's dividends would be more of an unfairness than our joint ownership, meaning we would need to keep some level of contact going. And it wasn't like our marriage had completely soured. We still liked one another. A lot. Indeed, the whole reason for our separation was more for how each of us was uncomfortable at the thought of forcing the other person to do something they didn't want. It was just this one thing was, how did Keith phrase it? An irreconcilable difference. I glanced over to Carmen again as the judge mulled over what we said. Her discomfort was gone, and she was looking at our host. It seemed she felt my gaze and looked my way, and smiled. We just looked fondly in each other's eyes, and we eventually noticed the silence in the room. Okay, from what little I've seen of you two personally, I tend to take what you say as truth, the judge spoke up. This isn't the first time I've had a couple in here that weren't practically using my chambers for a battleground. But it always makes me a little sad, as nice as it is not to feel like the referee in a wrestling match, to see two genuinely nice people go their separate ways. Tompkins looked down at his desk and scanned over our papers. But that's as maybe. Everything seems in order, and your reasoning has merit. You refused my suggestion of speaking with a counselor, so there's not much else I can do except let this go ahead. He picked up a pen and signed the divorce papers. There. It's official, by the power of the state of New York invested in me. I now pronounce you complete strangers. You may kiss your ex. We all chuckled, and Carmen and I both stood and hugged, a little somberly. I gave her a little goodbye peck on the cheek, and she did the same. The judge chuckled. You know I was just joking there, right? My now ex-wife and I shuffled apart in embarrassment and sat back down so we could finish, and I could finally call my mother back and explain why we had to do all this. It was over. The marriage was officially ended. Carmen was keeping my name, since that's what all her business contacts knew her by for over a decade. But would be Ms. Carmen Benson instead of Mrs. Judge Tompkins was to pass the signed divorce papers to the county recorder, who would then send both of us official copies. But it was done. Keith gave me a lift to pick up the caddy, and I returned to the hotel to change into more comfortable and casual clothes, and to pack up my belongings and check out. Then I returned to Carmen's condo, to pack my share of our accumulated belongings that would ride with me through the Midwest, and get the remainder sorted for later shipping. She was dressed just as casually as I was, jeans and a t-shirt. We smiled and introduced ourselves as single people, and as she invited me in, I gave her a friendly peck on the cheek. Sorting my things didn't take too long, and with the car loaded up, and the rest in boxes ready for the shipping company to pick up, we looked at each other, satisfied with another job done well by our teamwork, yet sad about parting, maybe forever. Carmen looked at the floor, and I once again studied her beautiful features. I still low. We stopped speaking as we realized we were saying the same thing at the same moment. We didn't need to finish. Each of us knew what the other was going to say. I took Carmen in my arms, and we rested our foreheads together. Her hands found their usual place at the small of my back. Do you want me to stay? To say goodbye one last time? I could leave in the morning, bright and early, and... Oh, I want you to stay, Neil. I want to take all your stuff out of the car and order cheap takeout, and Just be together. But I also want you to go do what you need to do and find someone who can give you what I can't. Oh, honey. I kissed her forehead and pulled her closer. I'd love to make this the shortest divorce in history. And I'd love to stay, but I also don't want either of us living with regret. If one of us gave something up just to hold on to this, we'd both carry that weight, and I don't want us resenting each other down the line. I don't want to see you hurting like that again. Carmen cupped my face in her hands and kissed me, deeply and sincerely, like she had so many times before. I knew I'd missed that most of all. Oh, Neil, you're too good to me. Most people wouldn't be this understanding. They'd think what I want is unreasonable. To want something different isn't wrong, I said, cutting in gently. It's just life. It's not fair to push you into something you're not okay with. I paused, realizing one of my hands had moved instinctively, and we both noticed the shift at the same time. We locked eyes, startled at how automatic some of our habits still were. For a moment, it felt like we were teenagers again standing apart, unsure, trying to respect boundaries we once never had to think about. I need to go. Yeah, it's time. We stepped back from each other and nodded, quietly. Neil, I'm going to miss you, hell. I miss you already. But I don't want you to give up on what matters to you just for me. I took a deep breath, blinking back tears. God, hon, I love you all the more for saying that. It's strange to be grateful while being pushed away, but I get it. Yeah, we're quite the pair, she said with a soft laugh. Like something out of Gift of the Magi, both of us ready to give up what matters most for the other. She crossed one arm over her chest, gently holding the opposite elbow. The vulnerable posture hit me like a punch. I could feel the ache building in my chest. She looked down, avoiding my eyes. As she started to glance back up, something seemed to catch her attention to my right, and her eyes widened slightly. Oh, Neil, you really should get going, she said abruptly, her focus now shifting to an end table beside us. I glanced down, puzzled for a moment, then awkwardly shifted my weight and cleared my throat, unsure what exactly she'd noticed. When I looked back up, I noticed how tense she seemed, shoulders drawn in, like she was trying to hide something from both of us. Yeah, I faltered, then stepped forward and kissed her face in a quick series of light, affectionate touches. Her hands came to my shoulders, unsure either to steady me or push me back. Maybe both. I want to stay, I said, voice low. But you're right. Thank you. I'm going to go. Even if it hurts both of us, it's time to rip the bandage off. She exhaled shakily and gently guided me backward, arms extending as if letting go was the hardest thing she'd done in years. Go, she said softly. I'll call your mom. Let her know you're on your way. Yeah, thanks. Probably better if we get some space sooner rather than later, I replied with a bittersweet smile. Call her when you stop for the night. And she trailed off, tears gathering in her eyes, her voice catching. I'll call you too. Tonight. I promise. Goodbye, Neil. You're right. It's better this way. Goodbye, Carmen. And I turned and walked out the door, every step feeling like I was walking uphill through water, every part of me resisting what I knew had to happen. It wasn't until I was sitting in the car that I realized I'd been holding my breath, and as I forced my lungs to work again, my head dropped onto the steering wheel. After almost sobbing, I managed to bring myself to turn the ignition, change gears, and start the car rolling. My foot slammed on the brakes. My jaw ached as it clenched, my breath was labored, and my knuckles were white on the wheel. I fought with myself for a few more moments, then pulled my hands off the wheel, scrabbled for the seatbelt and strapped myself in, maybe to protect myself from a possible crash from my distracted emotional state, or maybe just to hinder myself from leaping from the car and racing back to her, and undoing everything both of us were struggling to do. I took some more deep breaths, put my hands back on the wheel, and lifted my foot from the brake pedal. As the car started forward, a strangled sound escaped from my lips, something somewhere between a sob, a growl, and a cry. I set off and left my ex-wife. I was screwed. I turned up the wiper blades to fight the constant splatter of snowflakes onto the windshield and cursed my indecision, weakness, and my constant foot dragging. The weather had been fine back in the Apple, and traffic wasn't bad on that late Tuesday morning, but still I'd taken one of the slowest departures from that city. Every traffic light found me lost in thought, fighting with myself to turn around and go back to Carmen and throw our plan of a clean break to the four winds. Usually someone else would help my resolve by using their car horn. Once there was actually no one behind me, and it took a beat cop tapping on my window to make sure I was okay. But I finally got clear of New York City, a place where Carmen and I had made so many memories together. It seemed like once I'd crossed the Hudson and entered New Jersey, I was released from the near inexorable grasp of our past, of that constant compulsion to turn around and race back to her and spoil this clean break we were making. Having crossed my personal Rubicon, I made good time through the Garden State and through Pennsylvania, stopping for lunch in a place called Snowshoe, and checked in with my mother to reassure her and myself of my progress. But once I'd left PA for the Buckeye State, and my route took me close to Lake Erie, it started to snow. And here I was, driving slower than expected. I hadn't driven long distance in years, and bad weather driving? It just wasn't going well. As it began to get dark, I realized I wouldn't reach my goal of Toledo by supper time, and with it pitch black with only halos of snowflakes in my headlights to see, I pulled off the turnpike at the first exit that had that accommodations icon on the sign. Soon I was presented with a series of motels just lining the road heading north from the highway to Sandusky. Proceeding slowly up the snow-covered road, I thought about it and selected the first one on my left. If I was to set off the next morning, even if the storm had cleared, there'd probably be rush hour traffic, and it'd be easier turning right to get back to the highway than cut left out across both directions. There were a fair number of cars in the lot, but the lit sign still indicated vacant rooms, so I relaxed a little and pulled into the nearest spot to the front desk entrance. After some rummaging, I pulled out my coat, donned it, and pulled up the hood to protect me from the elements. The wind didn't seem as bad as I thought it was while driving, but the snow was thick and accumulating quickly. I looked back as I grabbed the door handle, and my furthest footprints had all but disappeared. Delighting in the warm refuge of the reception lobby, I stretched out the cramps from driving for hours, and then stepped up to the vacant registration desk. A ring of the bell labeled for this purpose roused a woman from in the back office. She rubbed her eyes as she stepped up and greeted me. I quickly paid for a room for the night, was informed that the satellite TV and the Wi-Fi were out due to the storm, and given a key. I thanked her, and she returned to her office and presumably resumed her nap. Checking the layout of the motel, it was easier to leave the car where it was and get just the essentials and take them to my room through the front lobby. One quick chilly trip, and I was setting up in a modest room and relaxing in my alternate safe haven for the night. I confirmed that the TV was only capable of showing no signal blue screens, and my laptop couldn't find any wireless connections, so I sat on the bed and picked up the hotel phone from the bedside table. I used a calling card to put any long-distance charges directly to me, instead of letting them burden the hotel, who would likely then charge me exorbitantly for the inconvenience. After a couple of rings, my mother answered the phone. "Mom, it's Neil. I know I'm a little late, but there's a snowstorm blowing into Ohio off Lake Erie. It slowed me down, and I'm camping down in Sandusky, I think. Didn't make it to Toledo. No, I'm fine. Just got slowed by the storm. Car's handling just fine, even in bad weather, luckily. Yeah, after we're done, I'm gonna brave it out there and get some supper. I think just some junk food from whatever burger chain's closest. Any port in a storm after all. Yeah, I'll call Carmen after I eat. Just wanted to keep you up to date. I think this'll blow over before morning, but even so, I'll probably need another day to get there. Maybe a hotel near Davenport." "All right. Thanks. I'll call the hotel in Toledo and cancel my reservation. I hadn't thought of that in all the last-minute plans." "Okay. Again, I'm warm and comfy now, and it's good to know you're fine. I'll call you tomorrow when I start off again, okay? Good. Love you, Ma. Bye." As per her suggestion, I called and canceled my other reservation, then unpacked some clothes before bundling up again to go get some quick hot food. It was as I expected. A burger chain was the closest source of food for quite a ways according to the tourist maps of the area, so I settled for that. Ate at the fast food place, then drove back to the hotel. Lounging on the bed, I dug my calling card out of my wallet and called the number to what was recently my residence. It rang and rang before going to the old-fashioned answering machine. Carmen used to screen call, something she'd probably do since she wouldn't recognize the number on the display. That's when I realized she hadn't changed the greeting, and I listened to myself apologizing for Neil or Carmen not being able to answer, then instructing myself to leave a message. I did as the message asked. "Carmen, pick up. It's Neil. I'm using the hotel phone because my cell's not getting a good signal. Neil, are you okay?" "Yeah, fine. Just a little delayed by a lake effect storm, though. I didn't get to Toledo. Near Sandusky, actually. Oh, pity. But best laid plans, I guess. Yeah, this'll probably tack on another half day or so. So how's the apple? Falling apart without me?" "Yeah, the Chrysler building imploded on hearing that you left, and Lady Liberty tossed her torch and book away, and is sitting on her pedestal, sobbing." We both laughed. "No, it's going fine. Routine day at the restaurant. I did a little shopping to try to find things to fill the gaps you left." "Good. Hate to leave scars, after all." I chuckled to myself. "So, all the gaps, you said?" I asked with a leer evident in my voice. Carmen responded with exaggerated indifference. "Yes, all of them. I am a lonely divorcee after all, and I do need companionship on these cold winter nights all alone in that big, empty bed." "Rebounding already? Well, that's good to see, I guess. Would you like to say hello to the one who's going to keep me company tonight? He's right here." I was puzzled and a tiny bit uncomfortable, but kept up a brave face. Gladly. I must thank this kind gentleman for staving off a pretty maiden's loneliness. Okay, here he is. And after a moment, I was presented with a mechanical buzzing sound. My eyebrows knit for several seconds as I puzzled over this, and then the penny dropped. Oh, you. Carmen. She came back on the phone, giggling. Admit it. I had you going. You thought I'd actually gone out and picked up some random stranger for a one-night stand the very day our divorce is made final. I had to stifle laughter of my own. I could still hear the toy in the background. Okay, at first I was just playing along, but I did get a little worried after a bit. You got me fair and square. But a toy? Come on, like there's a flesh-and-blood man who could actually take your place? Properly, I mean. My voice became soothing. Well, I'd say there's plenty of decent guys out there who could. It'll just take some time to find them. Yeah, maybe, after I'm through grieving over the death of our marriage for a while. I'm sorry, Carmen, but you realized it as much as I did. You don't want kids, and I do. And if we tried to stay together, whatever happened would make one of us unhappy, and the other would be unhappy because they'd made their closest one unhappy. I could forego children, but you'd always worry whether I was sad or resenting you or something, and vice versa. Even if you were on board with bearing a child, I'd never be comfortable. Yeah, I know, but it doesn't mean I don't miss you. And you love. Hell, life just isn't going to be as fun without you. Fun. Stop. You're making me blush. Well, maybe you should after some of the things you instigated. You know that part of the reason I had to leave New York is because there was nowhere I could go that didn't remind me of some time we had sex there. Heh. Okay, we were pretty randy newlyweds. Newlyweds? You have an odd definition for that word. I remember just a couple of years ago, when the Intrepid Air Museum got their Enterprise Orbiter exhibit set up, you had to go and bribe the night watchman, plural, might I add, to let us sneak in so we could join that really small group of people who have had sex on the space shuttle. Her reply was uproarious laughter. Hearing it made my cheeks ache from smiling and my heart swell in my chest. You know, I could have gotten a discount if we'd let them watch. No, the guy offered it as a joke, and even if he was serious I wouldn't have, but I meant to mention it. I knew you'd find it funny, but I didn't want to break the mood. Then I forgot about it until you reminded me. Oh wow. Well, you get what I mean, right? Just last week, I thought I finally found a quiet spot to get you off my mind some new juice bar. But as I looked out the window to people watch, guess what was across the street? That art gallery, you know the one, where you talked me into buying that ridiculous painting. Excuse me? I seem to recall that ridiculous painting is sitting in the back seat of your car. Exactly. Because you made me buy it, so it's my ridiculous painting now. I had to take it because it's hard to complain about owning a terrible painting when it's hanging on someone else's wall. She laughed again. I always loved that laugh, and I already knew I'd miss it more than anything. Neil? Yeah, hun? I don't want to open old wounds, but do you still feel like you need to have kids? I mean, if you were willing to wait, maybe. Oh, sweetheart. I'd love to. It's not like I'm in a panic about it, but I'm not getting any younger. I'm 42. Even if I turned around and drove back through this blizzard right now, and we started trying today, I'd be nearly 43 when the baby was born. 61 by the time they graduate high school. That doesn't sound too bad. Okay, but think about this when our kid's 7 and running around with all that energy. You and I would be 50, maybe older. Do you really see me playing catch and giving piggyback rides at that age? Carmen went quiet for a moment. Yeah, I'm sorry I took away your younger years, Neil. No, it's not like that, honey. It's just I feel like if I don't do it now, I'll miss the window. And you don't want kids, and I don't want to force you into it. Well, to be fair, I wouldn't mind you forcefully trying, Carmen murmured breathily. I shivered and felt a twitch in my pants. You don't want to make me go through bearing a child, and yeah, I have to thank you for that. Heh, you know I get kidney stones. They say that's a little bit worse than having a kid via natural childbirth. If it was even half as bad, I'd never wish something like that on you. I love you too much, Carmen. Oh, it still sounds weird that you're leaving me because you care for me so much, or that I'm letting you go because I care so much for you too. We never do seem to do things the easy way. Did, lover. But you're right. It worked for us with the restaurant, though. That shifted the conversation to more mundane things, and we became joint owners of a business discussing things that had happened in the day since I'd been gone. Okay then, I guess. Yeah, well the storm's going to prolong my trip. I was supposed to get to Ames tomorrow evening, but I'll have to hit up a motel somewhere in Indiana or Illinois now. I guess I'll call you tomorrow evening when I get in. Okay, Neil. Gee, goodbye. I love you, and I hope you find your... Would broodmare be a mean thing to say? I snorted. Well, maybe to her face, but I know what you mean. I hope you find some sterile stud who's fun and funny soon, too. Wait, I know what you mean, you silly man. We both laughed for a few moments. The tension of ending our contact eased. Tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. I'll wait for your call. Rest well. And you. We hung up. It was then that I realized I was pretty bored. It was still only about 8 in the evening, and I wasn't very tired. The storm outside was still raging, which meant most of my usual distractions were out: no TV, no internet, and a spotty cell signal. I thought about grabbing a book or something from the car, but the idea of rummaging through the trunk or back seat during a blizzard didn't appeal to me. I lay on the bed and sighed. After a moment, I shrugged, pulled down the sheets, took off my shoes, pants, and dress shirt, and crawled into bed in my underwear and socks. I tried not to think about Carmen. It took a while to fall asleep. At some point, I was waking up from a dream I couldn't remember. I'd been drifting in and out of sleep for a few hours, but this time it felt different, like something had actually stirred me. I lay there and listened carefully. After a moment, I was rewarded. A rhythmic thumping sound came from the wall, and if I focused, I could just barely hear murmuring or voices. I chuckled to myself, realizing the source: my neighbors. I let it play out in the background for what seemed like half an hour. Eventually, it quieted down. I checked my phone. It was just before midnight. The signal had improved slightly, though the bars still flickered. I glanced out the window. The storm looked a little less dense, but it was still going strong. The cars below were just lumps under the snow. Sitting back on the bed, I put my phone on the nightstand and sighed. I wasn't tired anymore, rested from my earlier nap, and now wide awake. Maybe a hot shower would help me relax. I stood up, took off my socks, and started pulling my undershirt over my head. While I was doing that, I was caught off guard by the sudden sound of music. It was my phone's ringtone, but it was a song I didn't recognize. My phone didn't even have song ringtone set. I paused and listened. I have to fake it. I'd leave if I could. I'm not in love. But the sex is good. It repeated. Confused, I yanked the shirt off and hurried to grab my phone. The display read "Your ex," with Carmen's face in the profile photo, winking and sticking her tongue out. It was the condo's number. I blinked, surprised, then quickly answered. Carmen? Hello? Neil. I'm EOU. Wait, are why low? Carmen? You're breaking up. The storm's still messing with cell service. Wanna I can. Then the call dropped. I reached for the hotel phone, cursed, then grabbed my pants to find my wallet and calling card. I dialed out and tried calling the condo. Busy. She must have still been trying to call my cell. I tried again. Still busy. Fingers crossed she'd answer this time. I dialed again, third try. The phone barely rang before she picked up. Neil? Yeah, it's still the hotel line. The storm's not letting up, I said quickly, not giving her time to change the subject. So, you got into my phone and changed the ringtone? I saw the new profile pic too. I could almost hear her smiling through the line. Yeah, I heard the song in a cab last week. It reminded me of us. Thought it'd be a nice surprise. I laughed softly to show I wasn't mad. You slipped my phone out while we were packing, didn't you? Guilty, she replied. Didn't take much effort. Well, now it would, I teased, trying to lighten the mood. There was a pause, and her voice turned quieter. Neil, can I ask something? Even if it reopens old wounds? Go ahead. Do you still want kids? I sighed, feeling the weight of time. It's not a desperate urge, but yeah, I'm 42. Even if things changed tomorrow, I'd be in my 60s by the time a kid finished high school. It's hard to picture myself chasing a toddler around at 50. I'm sorry I took so long to figure things out. Her words were like a whisper. We were both figuring things out, I replied. Silence stretched between us, filled with 1,000 things unsaid. I saw the painting the other day, she finally said. The one from that gallery we stumbled into, the one you hated. The abstract disaster? Yeah, I remember. Still sitting in the back seat of my car. You never threw it out? Nope. You convinced me to buy it, so it became mine. And honestly, it kinda grew on me. We both chuckled quietly. The moment felt suspended in amber, warm, nostalgic, and a little sad. I miss those moments, she said after a while. The dumb jokes. Even the arguments about art. Yeah, I said, staring at the snow falling outside my hotel window. So do I. An abrupt shriek and a muffled thump snapped me out of my daze. I blinked, my throat dry, and called out, You okay? Her response was laughter, pure, uproarious laughter. Oh, Neil. I rolled right off the bed. You weren't even here, and I still managed to throw myself off. She continued laughing uncontrollably. I tried to resist, but ended up laughing with her. Oh, honey. I love it, but seriously, are you okay? Fine. I think you were rolled under the bed, but wow. I haven't felt this great in weeks. I took a deep, satisfied breath. Thank you. That was wonderful. You really humored me, even when it was a little ridiculous. Her reply was loving but firm. Shush. That was the most fun I've had in ages. It felt kind of daring, right? I loved it. I smiled, wishing I could hold her close. I'd forgotten what that kind of connection felt like. It was a little weird rolling around alone on the bed, yet feeling like you were right there holding me. Like we were together and apart at the same time. You too? I was lying here, and at the same time, I felt like I was with you, close, connected. It was surreal. Oh, Carmen exhaled. I didn't know you were so descriptive. I almost want to do it again. Oh, I might be too tired now, but maybe I could walk you through something again later? She chuckled. Sorry for wearing you out. Maybe a rain check when life gets too stressful again? My heart picked up. Absolutely. If I can find the time and space we're on. Friends with benefits. Always love. Thanks, you helped scratch an emotional itch I couldn't reach. Same here. Can I ask, you mentioned that theme earlier? She hesitated. I'll admit I was going to try to make a deal with you. Say I'd change my mind about certain things to get you to come back. That was my first thought when I called. But I realized that wasn't fair. Still, the idea stuck in my mind and kind of influenced the whole conversation. Understandable. I just started imagining what it would be like, how things would change. All of it. Did you really do what you said with the diaphragm? A pause. Yeah, it's on the table next to the scissors we use for opening packages. I'm a little fuzzy on the details. I was very emotional by then. Honestly, I don't remember everything clearly. Wow, but it was just a fantasy, right? She paused before answering. I think so. It felt intense, like crossing a line in imagination, not reality. I don't think I'd take actual risks. Sorry, honey. I reassured her. That's perfectly fine. It was breathtaking, honestly. Like you said, a thrill, something different. I can't stop thinking about how real it felt, like you were actually here. Yeah, please. Neil, this isn't about trying to lure you back or mess with your life. But we have to try something like that again. I mean, sure, we had fun phone calls when you were in France for that cooking competition, but nothing like this. It's a promise. Next time, though, let's change it up a little just to see what really makes it work. My comment was responded to with a snort. There he is, the scientific chef. Now you're just trying to work out a new recipe, aren't you? Is that all I am to you, a cooking ingredient? Her voice rose in mock anger as she spoke. No, sorry, you're so much more. Emian, crap. Carmen's laughter tickled my ears. And now he's just stepped in a pot of soup. Again. Hey, that was just one time. The kitchen was cramped, and I did ask you to put the soup on the floor next to me, but I forgot, and sorry for bringing up bad memories, love. Thank you, though. We needed to clear our heads from the sexy stuff. I nodded. Yummy, too. Ooh. Carmen groaned as I imagined she stretched, but I know I heard a couple of joints pop. Ugh, I'm so stiff. I think I curled my back in a spiral when I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, I'm all cold and sticky now. Sorry. Wish I'd been there to keep that yucky stuff from getting on you. Heh. Wish our phones were waterproof. We could take showers together. You're not helping me put Big Neil to bed, honey. Sorry about that. Tell you what, let's just call it for now and get cleaned up. You were going to call me tomorrow once you got to your mom's? Yeah, but with this storm, I think I'll need to stay another night at the hotel. Really? Her voice carried something unspoken surprise, maybe hope. Yeah, I guess that opens the door for a possible encore, doesn't it? I'll be thinking about it while I shower. I laughed and took a deep breath. Good idea. We'll both be thinking of each other, yeah? Promise. Friends with a whole lot of memories. The best kind, Neil. Thanks again for this. I couldn't sleep with everything going on, the storm, the travel changes, the stress. Same here. Talking to you helped a lot. Thanks for going along with my random idea. Your random ideas have always led to some of the best times. Remember the space shuttle tour? She chuckled. We'll always be friends, Neil. I'm not going to hold you back, but I can't forget you. You'll always have a part of me. Always in you, me, honey. I trailed off, unsure how to finish. Let's go have our showers, hon. Thank you. Love you, Carmen. Love you, Neil. I placed the phone back in its cradle and walked to the bathroom, trying to settle my racing thoughts. The shower helped. At first, I just cleaned up, letting the hot water soothe the tension in my muscles. Eventually, the steam and quiet gave me a moment to clear my head and breathe. After drying off, I returned to the bed, feeling finally calm. I checked my phone again, no signal, probably from the storm flaring back up, and remembered the song Carmen had accidentally downloaded while setting the ringtone. It took me a moment, but I found The Sex Is Good by Saving Abel in my otherwise empty music folder. I turned the volume down and played it. I liked it. Like she said, it reminded me of us, a little bittersweet, but still full of intensity and shared history. I played it a couple more times before putting the phone away and pulling the covers over me. As I drifted off, I found myself wondering what Carmen, ever the creative spirit, had in mind for tomorrow evening. I guess breaking up didn't always have to be painful, not if it happened with care, one step at a time. I awoke early, probably because of my evening nap the day before, and I was refreshed, happy, and full of energy. A quick set of ablutions in the bathroom, which seemed to make my neighbors amorous again, and I was clean, dressed, and ready to continue my journey. The sun was shining outside, and while the snow was still somewhat deep, it didn't look like it would last the day. With the storm gone, cell service was clear again, and my phone showed weather forecasts all the way from New York to Iowa were clear and sunny, with no road closures. The crew seemed to have already cleared the highways overnight, and keeping them clear until the storm stopped was just routine. I packed up my few things, called out, "Geez, you too, get a room." "Oh, wait," to my neighbors, and left with a smile on my face. The same woman was working the reception desk, but she seemed to have gotten plenty of rest. She took my key and checked me out, and I thanked her for the pleasant stay. I walked out in a cleared parking lot to the still snowy lumps of the cars. I'd forgotten which one was mine, but hitting the alarm found a beeping lump with some lights flicking on and off under its protective blanket. I opened the driver's door, swept the snow that fell in onto the seat, put my overnight bag back in its spot on the passenger seat, and picked up the big two-handed scraper I had ready for this situation. I put the key in the ignition and started the engine, turning the fans on full defrost, and got out with the scraper. It didn't take long to clear off the car, and soon I was comfortably belted into my driver's seat and ready to resume my journey. And then, with nothing to immediately occupy my mind, doubt jumped to the forefront and reminded me of last night and of the years of fun and happiness we'd had. My knuckles turned white on the wheel. No, if I go back, I argued with myself, it'll just be the two of us walking on eggshells until things blow up again, and one or the other, or both of us will feel like shit. This past month was just about the worst of our. I stopped to do some math. Oh shit, it would have been 17 years. That left me reliving those long years of happiness. No, look, okay, I said, bargaining with myself. Tell you what, I'll flip a coin. I grabbed one from the toll stock in the glove box door. Heads, the smart choice, and I continue on to Iowa and mom, and home and find someone to have fat little babies with. Tails, thinking down there, and I turn back to New York and try to beg Carmen to take me back. Not that she'll just let me back in. Maybe she's smarter than my libido. I flipped the coin into the air and let it land on the dash. Heads, keep going. And I really wanted to go for best 2 out of 3. That told me everything I needed to know about which choice I wanted to take, but it still didn't help me figure out which would be the better choice. In the end, after arguing with myself even more, I decided to abide by the coin toss and all of Carmen's and my existing plans and carry on. To relax myself, I decided to turn on the radio. I got static. That's right, I thought. Last time I listened to anything was back in Pennsylvania, different stations out here. So I hit seek, letting the radio cycle up the dial until it found the first decent signal. And that means no delays or school closures for this sunny Wednesday morning. You're listening to 92.1 The Wolf Classic Hits, and here's a tune for you from 1984 to help you on your morning commute. And then the song started playing, and I had to rest my head on the steering wheel as I realized what choice I had to make. Oh, hey, Mom. I didn't wake you, did I? Oh, good. The roads are clear. I got a good night's sleep. I just thought I should call you before I left. Yeah, Mom. I'm going back to New York. It's just that we talked last night, and I can't stop thinking about her, and I know there's this elephant in the room about having kids, and I love that she cares so much for me to let me go like this to be happy, and I know I'm babbling, but I just can't help it when I think of her. I just can't be without her. Mom, it's too much, and well, wait, what do you mean good? You expected this? Well, why didn't you say something? I had to work this out for myself. Mother, I just got divorced yesterday. It's a little closing the barn door after the horse has bolted, don't you think? Okay, I know. It's just, you're so damn inscrutable. Sorry, didn't mean to swear. But you say so little, and yet you always seem to have profound advice. So your advice and insight here at this point? Okay, midlife crisis? I can see that. I'm getting older, and the restaurant being done, but empty nest? What does that mean? Wait, but how does that apply to us? We don't have any kids, that's the point. Though wait, you mean, oh God. You're right. Yeah, I see that now. Not textbook, but the same sort of emptiness. Wait, Mom? You went to college before you met Dad, right? And you got a degree, right? Yeah. So, that degree wouldn't happen to be in psychology, would it? Fine. Avoid the question. I love you too, Mom. So where does that leave me now? Yeah, I'm going back, and now I've got your support about this? Okay. Yeah, we'll work this out. You just explained to me what is really getting at me with this, so? Yes, Mom. I should speak with a professional therapist about this. Maybe Carmen and I will see a marriage counselor, but I think I've already got the solution for this empty nest problem. What solution? Not so fun now when the shoe's on the other foot, is it? Okay, Carmen and we're opening more restaurants. We're starting with Chicago later this year. That should keep us back to our nest nice and full, don't you think? Yes, we'll see the counselor. I'm not going to just wing it. The divorce is evidence enough of what a couple of amateurs came up with. But Mom, thank you. This helped. A lot. Yeah, I know, but I feel so much better than I have for a long time now, and you just had a big part in that. Okay, sorry I'm not coming out to see you. Tell you what, both of us will come visit you soon. Maybe for Easter? What? Oh God. Sorry, didn't mean to swear. You're right. I hadn't thought of Valentine's much because, well, you know, I need to. I gotta make plans. It's just, well, yes, I'm going to reconcile with my wife first before plotting romantic getaways or something. I'm not putting the cart before the horse, Mom. Call her. But, well, I was kind of going to drive back and maybe surprise her. Yeah, true, but if I call her before leaving and tell her everything, she's going to be spending the rest of the day on tenterhooks, waiting for me. Oh, right. Yeah, spending the day still trying to deal with her husband getting further away from her would be worse. I'm sorry, you're right, Mom. Okay, I'll call her as soon as we're done here. Yep, it's a date. We'll come out to see you over Easter. You'll be seeing more of us anyways, since we'll be almost moving to Chicago while we do all the stuff for the new restaurant. The original plan was for me to do most of the legwork and Carmen to stay back in New York mostly and stop out every now and again. But now? Yes. I don't think I'm going to be letting her out of my sight much now. Again, thank you, Mom. You gave me the key to sort out all my problems. No, I did feel what the right thing was, but you helped me know why. Yes, I love you, Mom, and we'll see you soon. Thanks again. Bye. I hung up, then paused before making the next call. I looked at the entry in my address book and decided to fix something. When Carmen had changed things on my phone, she'd changed her name to my ex. It still made me smile, but I didn't feel it was accurate anymore. I cleared that and dithered over what to put in its place, but couldn't come up with something snappy. My wife was the one who was good at this sort of off-the-cuff, funny stuff. So I settled for my love. I called Carmen, and it rang through to voicemail. But before my greeting finished, she picked up, muzzily calling out, Neil? Are you okay? Is the car fine? What happened? Oh, sorry, woke you up. I'm fine, hon. It's good weather and everything's fine. I paused for a moment and took the plunge. I should be back to see you just before supper time. Oh, cool. Thanks for calling, then. Don't worry about waking me. I'll speak with you then. She yawned. Yeah, love. I waited. So drive carefully, and I'll see. You wait? What? She was awake now. Yeah, so? Neil, why are you heading the wrong way? I inhaled before speaking. I can't do it, Carmen. Last night. That was awesome, and all the times we've had, they're too important. I can't let this break us up. I can't bear not being with you. I'm coming home, Carmen. She was gasping a little. Neil? But, you're coming back? Carmen. I was really torn about it this morning, thinking about it in the cold light of day. And something tipped the scales for me to decide. So I called Mom to let her know, and she expected it. Wait, what tipped you over? I'll get to that in a bit. But Mom had been waiting for me to change my mind about this whole separation thing. By the way, did you know she had a degree in psychology? Yeah, met your father in grad school. I thumped the steering wheel. Sure, does everyone know everything except me? Anyways, Mom nailed it on the head. I'd hit a kind of midlife crisis when we finished the holiday rush with the restaurant. We had been busy for years, and now we're at a point where we aren't needed every day. Here's something for you. We were suffering from a weird form of empty nest syndrome. Empty nest, what? Isn't that when parents? Yes, now bear with me here, hon. Normally empty nest is parents who've raised children and then seen them go on to college or whatever and leave. But we are suffering from it. Without having had kids? Bear with me. We're suffering from it because of the restaurant. It has been our proxy child. There was a pause. I could hear the wheels turning in her head. The restaurant was our child? Something we got together and created from nothing, then raised and nurtured to the point we can see it go on fine without us. But now we've gotten to the state where the restaurant doesn't need us, and we felt a little forlorn from it. We've spent more than a decade making it a success, and now we're not needed. That sounds accurate. Oh, your mother. I love that woman. Yeah, I'm glad you and she are friends in your own right. So, we were at loose ends, and you? I guess I had some biological must spread your DNA imperative working on me, thus the need for real kids. But now, someone kind of helped me with that last night. You might say I was able to sound my wild oats. I can hear your grin, boyo. And thank you for the compliment. Because our little role play last night, I actually didn't feel the impulse much today, thus I didn't have so much desire to leave. So, if I were to keep acting at having you, you'd keep me in your bed, to put it crassly. And as I've said, I don't have to really do it. The fantasy was enough for me. So we're good. You can get a replacement diaphragm and we'll be fine. Well, I might want something else, feeling that so deeply. I kind of missed that. When we get together, I am going to want to feel you that deep. I think you're taking this play a little too. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm going to rush an appointment with my gyno today. I'll go on the pill or something, and you're wearing a raincoat for the next month until it kicks in. Fair enough, milady. Oh God, Pinch me, Neil. This isn't a joke or some dream. No, it's not. See, I'm coming back. We're going to be together again. I'm sorry for all my mistakes. Just, oh, how long is it going to be? Maybe you could get a flight? Or should I rent a car and meet you? Honey, it's too far to an airport from here, with all the delays involved, and driving from JFK or LaGuardia would be even longer. And I thought about the two-car idea. We'd end up meeting somewhere in rural Pennsylvania, with no internet, cell coverage, or warm accommodations. Probably just a cinder block toilet at a rest stop. It'll be simpler if you just go with your day and wait for me. We'll have a takeout delivered and reacquaint ourselves. Oh, Neil. Again, honey, I'm never going to be able to apologize enough. You are far too good for me. You pushed me away for my own good. You needed it. But you put me before yourself. I love you, Carmen Benson, and I am never forsaking you again as long as we live. She couldn't speak. I just heard sniffling from the other end of the line. Carmen, go about your day, and I'll see you this afternoon. She chuckled, and I heard her blow her nose. Yes, dear. You drive safely but quickly. Will do, honey. Oh, Neil, what was the thing? Which? That changed your mind. Oh, well, I was about to pull out of the parking spot, and I couldn't focus, so I turned on the radio, and I heard a song. I waited. Well, what? What was the damn song, you tease? Oh, well, it's an oldie, but it was perfect for my dilemma. I inhaled deeply and began to sing. I can't fight this feeling any longer, and yet I'm still afraid to let it flow. What started out as friendship has grown stronger. I only wish I had the strength to let it show. I tell myself that I can't hold out forever. I said there is no reason for my fear, because I feel so secure when we're together. You give my life direction. You make everything so clear. And even as I wander, I'm keeping you in sight. You're a candle in the window on a cold, dark winter's night. And I'm getting closer than I ever thought I might. And I can't fight this feeling anymore. I've forgotten what I started fighting for. It's time to bring this ship into the shore and throw away the oars forever, because I can't fight this feeling anymore. I've forgotten what I started fighting for. And if I have to crawl upon the floor, come crashing through your door. Baby, I can't fight this feeling anymore. I didn't subject her to the entire song with my mediocre rendition, though. Again, she had to take a break from the conversation to blow her nose. So, you can see how it affected me, can't you? Oh, yeah, she agreed, sniffling some more. So what radio station was that? Because I'm going to have to send them a fruit basket for saving our relationship. I'm sorry for being such a fool. Stop, Neil. It's okay. Not yet. But I hope to make up for all my stupid mistakes soon. Just get home to me, love. Yes'm, Neil. Thank you. Only if I can thank you right back. Oh, I so want to kiss you right now. As do I. But the longer we keep talking, the longer it's going to take me to get home. Okay, Neil. I'll be home by say 2. I'll be waiting for you. I'll hurry as much as is safe and legal. See you soon. Yep, soon. And we hung up, and I put the car in gear and went home. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comment section below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.